Okay, so you need to hear this. Someone told me a story and I can't shake it. It's about a family, their home, and, well, something that decided it didn't want any roommates.
I mean, really let that sink in. The one place in the entire world you're supposed to feel safe. The place tied to your family, to your blood. What if it turned on you? What if it wanted you out? This is the story of Sakshi's family, and it all starts, like so many scary stories do, with what was supposed to be a happy vacation.
All right, let's set the scene. We're going to a tiny, remote village in Bihar, India. A place with these huge, sprawling fields, and you can just feel it, some very old secrets. This was meant to be the perfect summer trip. I think it was doomed from the start.
So you gotta picture this place. Sakshi and her whole family. We're talking aunts, uncles, all the cousins. They all get together at their grandma's Haveli. It's one of those big, old, sprawling mansions, right? But here's the thing. It is completely cut off, surrounded by nothing but miles of their family's farmland. I mean, from the roof, other houses are just these tiny little specks on the horizon. It was supposed to be their escape, but as it turns out, they were escaping to something, not just from the city. And you know, it makes perfect sense. In these little villages, the power's always going out, and the summer heat inside is just brutal. So everyone's sleeping out on this huge open roof, totally normal. It's cooler, you get a breeze. But I think being out there like that, so exposed under that massive dark sky, that was their first mistake. An invitation they didn't even know they were sending. And this is where a normal, peaceful night starts to curdle into something else. It didn't start with a bang. It started with a feeling. Okay, so it's late, like 1:30 in the morning. The grown-ups are all asleep, but the cousins, you know how it is, they're still up, just whispering and talking. And Sakshi notices her cousin, Diksha, keeps doing this nervous glance over at a dark corner of the roof, right by this big water tank. When she finally asks her, "Hey, what's wrong?" Diksha whispers this, that creepy feeling of being watched, the hair on the back of your neck standing up, the sense that you are not alone. And right as they're trying to laugh off Diksha's fears, bang! The sound is so loud, so sharp, it makes everyone jump out of their skin. The way it was described to me, it was like someone walked right up to that huge plastic water tank and just slapped it with everything they had. But here's the thing, everyone was accounted for. The adults were asleep, the cousins were all sitting in a group, nobody was anywhere near that tank. That slap on the water tank, that was just a knock on the door. What came next was the sound of the door being kicked clean off its hinges. The night was about to completely fall apart. Just imagine the pure chaos of this. They're still trying to figure out that loud bang when this blood-curdling scream just rips through the quiet, and it's coming from inside the locked house below them. They all scramble downstairs, wake everybody up, but the two people who were sleeping inside, out cold, hadn't heard a thing. And as they're all standing there, totally confused and freaked out, they hear it. Thump, thump, thump. Heavy footsteps, right from the roof they just fled. They race back up, and there's nobody there. The roof is completely empty. So, who screamed? And who was walking around up there? And this is the moment when the cold, terrifying logic of it all starts to sink in for the family. There was no way for anyone to get in. The huge iron gate at the front, padlocked from the inside. The boundary walls, way too high to climb. Every single person in the family was there, present and accounted for. There was no intruder. It was literally impossible. And yet, someone or something was in the house with them. They are way too scared to be on their own at this point. So the whole family, every single one of them, crams into this one big hall downstairs and locks the door. And that's when the new sound starts. The faintest little jingle, kungu. You know those traditional Indian anklets? This sound would just creep up to their door, stop, and then fade away, only to start up again from the other side of the hall, just pacing back and forth all night long, just outside their door. The second the sun started to rise, that family didn't waste a single moment. They knew this was beyond them. They needed answers from someone who understood things that don't follow the rules of logic. So they ran. They ran straight to the oldest temple in the village. And there, they found this 90-year-old priest, a man who had seen everything. They frantically told him their story, and he didn't laugh, he didn't dismiss them, he just listened, and then said, "Let's go." And he walked all the way back to the Haveli with this terrified family trailing behind him. The old priest didn't even go inside the house. He just walked into the courtyard, bent down real slow, and scooped up a handful of dirt from their land. He lifted it to his nose, and he smelled it. After this long, tense silence, he looked at the family with these just awful, grave eyes, and he said one single word: "Anarth, a catastrophe, a disaster."
And then he gave them the most bone-chilling explanation you could ever imagine. The priest, he tells them that the soil of their own home has been corrupted, used in some kind of ritual to bind a spirit, a ghost, to the property. He said this thing now believes the Haveli is its home, and it sees them as the trespassers. The bang, the scream, those weren't just random events, they were warnings. And the priest's words were the final warning: leave. Right now, or this spirit will not stop until your entire family, your whole bloodline, is wiped from existence.
Look, when a 90-year-old holy man looks you in the eye and tells you your entire family is about to be erased, you don't ask questions. You don't try to reason with it. You run. There wasn't even a discussion. The family, just shaking with terror, started throwing their things into bags. They grabbed only what was absolutely necessary, and they fled their own ancestral home that same day, leaving almost everything else behind. They never, ever spent another night there again. And this is what's left. The house that was once the absolute heart of their family, the place filled with laughter and summer memories, it's now just a ruin. It's completely abandoned, the walls are crumbling, nature is just swallowing it whole. The other villagers, they won't even go near the place. It's just a monument now to one single night of absolute terror. So they did the only thing they could. They gave the ghost the house. They got out, they survived. But if you can believe it, it leaves you with this awful question. That thing was tied to their land, their ancestral home. So when you run away from a place like that, are you ever really leaving the haunting behind? Or are you just giving yourself a head start?